It was past midnight when I heard someone call my name. Not a whisper, not a dream. A voice. Soft, calm, and familiar. Obinna. That was my name. But the voice belonged to my brother, Ikechukwu, the one we buried 2 weeks ago. My heart froze. The sound came from outside my window. When I peeped through the small hole in the mud wall, I saw him standing there. Barefoot. Covered in white cloth. And smiling. My name is Obinna Nwosu. I come from a small village called Igbo, deep in the east of Nigeria. Our people live simple lives, we farm, we trade, we pray. I grew up with my younger brother, Ikechukwu. He was the lively one, always laughing, always singing, always in trouble. Everyone loved him. But one day, while returning from the stream, he slipped on a wet rock and hit his head. He didn't make it. We buried him near the big mango tree behind our house. 4 days after his death, my mother cried until her eyes were red. My father became quiet, always staring at the ground. And me. I just couldn't believe my brother was gone. I kept expecting him to walk through the door, carrying firewood and grinning like before. But he never did. At least, not until that night. About a week after the burial, strange things started to happen in our compound. The chickens would scatter at midnight, crowing as if chased by something unseen. Dogs barked at empty space. And sometimes, we heard footsteps outside the house when everyone was inside. One evening, Mama said she heard someone calling her from the backyard. When she went out, she saw no one. But when she returned inside, she found the door open and Ikechukwu's old slippers lying just outside. Papa told us not to talk about it. He said, "When the dead are freshly buried, their spirits wander. Don't answer when they call." But I didn't listen. That's how my trouble began. It was a Friday night. Rain had fallen earlier, and the air was cold. We had just finished eating yam porridge, and everyone had gone to bed. I was lying on my mat, staring at the roof, thinking about my brother. Then I heard it. "Obinna." I sat up fast. The voice was outside the window. It was low and shaky, like someone speaking through tears. I thought maybe Mama was calling me, so I answered softly. "Mama, is that you?" No reply. Just silence. Then again. "Obinna, come out." My heart started to beat hard. That voice, it was Ikechukwu's. I was sure of it. I jumped up, but before I could move, Papa's voice came from his room. "Don't you dare open that door." He came out holding a lantern, his eyes wide. He whispered, "He's not your brother anymore. Whatever you hear outside, ignore it." The sound of feet dragging outside the window continued for a few seconds, then stopped. That night, nobody slept. The next day, a man came to our house, Motsi Udo, the palm wine tapper. He said he saw something strange on his way home around midnight. He told Papa, "I saw a young man standing near your compound. He looked just like your late son. But when I greeted him, he didn't answer. He just smiled and walked into the bush. Papa held his head in his hands. He said, "The dead are restless. Something is wrong." He went straight to the dibia, the local spiritual man, and came back with a small pot of medicine. He told us to put ashes around the windows and doors, so if any spirit passed, its footprints would show. That night, we did it. And when morning came, we saw them. Footprints. Bare feet. Small and fresh. Leading from Ikechukwu's grave straight to our back door. 2 days later, something else happened. I went to the market to buy salt for Mama. On my way back, an old woman stopped me on the road. Her name was Mama Ifeoma, the oldest woman in Umu's, almost blind. She called out, "Obinna, my son, come." I went to her slowly. She held my hand tight and said, "I know who's been calling your name. Don't answer again. The dead are jealous when the living ignore them." I asked her what she meant. She said, "When a loved one dies suddenly, their spirit sometimes doesn't know it's gone. It wants to come home. But if you open the door, it takes you along." I felt my chest tighten. I asked her what I should do. She said, "Before you sleep tonight, tie a red thread on your wrist and put salt at your door. The spirit will know you've seen the truth, and it will leave you alone." I did exactly what she said. But I wish I hadn't. That night, it was quiet. Too quiet. Even the insects didn't make sound. I lay on my mat, trying to sleep, when I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. 3 soft knocks on the door. Then the voice again, closer this time. "Obinna, open the door." I sat up, sweating. My parents were asleep. The red thread on my wrist felt hot. The knocking grew louder. "Obinna, it's me. Your brother. I'm cold. Please let me in." I covered my ears. But then something strange happened. The red thread on my wrist snapped on its own. And the door slowly creaked open. I screamed. Papa rushed out with the lantern. We saw the door swinging by itself, and a cold wind blowing inside. He shouted, "Ikechukwu, go back to where you belong." The flame of the lantern flickered, then went out. We stood in darkness. And then, we heard the footsteps running away into the bush. The next morning, Papa took me to the dibia again. The old man looked at me for a long time, then said, "The spirit is not evil yet, it's confused. You two were close in life, so it's still drawn to you." He gave us some white chalk and told us to draw marks around the grave at sunset. He also said we must not cry or speak when doing it, or the spirit would follow our voices. That evening, as the sun went down, we went to the grave. We drew the marks quietly. But as we turned to leave, I heard it again, faint, from behind the tree. "Brother." I froze. My father pulled my hand. "Don't turn around," he said. We walked home fast. That night, I didn't sleep at all. The real horror came the following week. It started with thunder. Rain poured heavily, and the wind howled like an angry spirit. In the middle of the storm, our neighbor, Auntie Neka, came running to our house. She shouted, "Come and see. The grave behind your house has opened." We followed her in the rain with lanterns. When we reached the mango tree, I saw it. The earth had cracked open, and Ikechukwu's coffin was half visible. Lightning flashed, and in that moment, I saw something move inside the grave. Something white. Something breathing. Mama screamed. Papa pulled us back. We ran inside, locked the doors, and sat together till morning. When daylight came, we went back to the grave. It was closed again. But there was a new footprint, wet, fresh, leading away into the bush. For a few days after that, everything was quiet. No strange sounds. No voices. We thought it was over. But one night, the full moon night, it came again. This time, the voice didn't call from outside. It came from inside the house. I woke up to hear my brother's voice whisper in my ear. "You promised we'd always be together, remember?" I froze. The air was cold, colder than ice. When I looked around, I saw the shadow of a man standing near the door. It looked like Ikechukwu, but his eyes were hollow and high. His smile was wide, too wide. Then he said, "It's your turn now." Everything went black.